think the thing that makes Steele the most unique is the commitment that both teachers, parents, and students have to working hard. The characteristics and values that Steele embraces most intensely are a sense of community. When we have a student that is in need, the community rallies around to take care of that student. Everyone is 100% dedicated to the success of students.
I would describe our classroom environment as very family-like. I think all of the teachers here at Steele and the staff work really hard to create a community, to create a sense of family where kids feel safe, they feel cared for, they feel important, they feel loved, and they're in an environment where they can take the risks to learn.
I really like being at Steele because my teachers always help me if I'm doing something wrong. They will always tell me to it's okay, you can do it, it's fine.
Where you live and what school you go to is really important. You can't redo these years. The parents at Steele are great. When we first moved here, in fact, my wife is a botanist, and the garden was a big deal. And I remember when we first met at the garden, we hadn't even started at Steele yet. And people were commenting like, you haven't even started here and you're already volunteering to work on the garden, and we're like, absolutely. And we were just so excited to meet all these parents that were so involved. And I think that sense of community really makes Steele a great school, and it's wonderful. We're super happy here.
So the second I stepped foot into Steele, I knew that this was where I wanted our kids to be. It just felt warm, it felt special, and I can't really put my finger on exactly what it was, but I knew that this was it.
What I enjoy most about being a student at Steele is that we have a lot of specials provided for us, like drama, music, art, PE.
Well, I have two favorite after-school activities. They're cooking and Miss Jenny's sports camp class.
I love being a part of the Steele community, I guess for several reasons. One, it's just an incredibly hard-working place. All of the students are working really hard, and all of the teachers are incredibly professional. I feel like I'm constantly learning from my colleagues, which is incredible, and it's very refreshing. I also love the parent involvement. I have been at PTA meetings and just been overwhelmed at how much the families are willing to give of time and funds and love and care and just everything. I've been so impressed with how warm the community is here at Steele.
Parent involvement at Steele blows any other school I've ever been a part of away. The funds raised by Steele parents at Steele help us meet the needs of students in a variety of ways. Most schools need to choose. Do we have an intervention teacher? Do we have a second educator? Do we have a gifted and talented teacher? We get to have a half-time gifted and talented teacher, up from a quarter-time gifted and talented teacher 3 years ago. We get to have a full-time intervention teacher. We get to have a second educator in every room. These are all facets where our kids receive extra help and get small group instruction based on their specific needs so they can all grow.
The mission of the PTA is first and foremost to create a community of Steele, and through that community of parents and teachers and administration, we really build a network and a platform for advocating for our children. Last year, PTA funded a $50,000 technology grant to the school to provide new and improved computers, laptops, iPads for use. We can get an iPad or a computer in the hands of every student. And we believe that's important for a 21st century learning environment.
The funds raised by Steele parents benefit me hugely as a teacher. We've gotten a lot of new technology as a result of it. That technology piece has totally transformed my classroom this year. The most striking example of technology changing our classrooms is the smart boards in the intermediate classrooms, and it has transformed them because it allows us to bring the outside world into the classroom. So instead of having a whiteboard that's there with some words that I wrote, we have images from all around the world as examples to capture their attention, so as they move forward to read about something, they already have a picture in mind. It makes it more real.
We use the iPads and the little laptops with our first graders and kindergartners. So they're doing things like spelling words, writing sentences, practicing fluency, and we also use the little laptops for access to online reading games.
The gap between what DPS can provide and what the needs of the school, or what the financial needs of the school are, that gap is becoming wider and wider. We need to allocate $90,000 each year for the second educators.
If I no longer had a second educator, my time in the classroom would be spent much differently. I would be spread much thinner. I wouldn't be able to meet with individual students for long periods of time like I am able to now. The time that I did spend with individual students would be much shorter. I probably wouldn't get to know my students as well as I do now, and just the individual attention would be much less.
If I didn't have a second educator in the classroom, I would have to change the way I teach. I would have to change the way we approach a topic, the way it's delivered. We'd have to do a lot more things whole group, and sometimes in a whole group situation, kids fall through the cracks.
The Steele Stallion Fund is our sustainable fundraising initiative that we've launched this year in an effort to really secure the future of educational excellence at Steele for the long term. The funds that we raise with the Steele Stallion Fund will primarily be used for the second educator that we have in every classroom here at Steele, which has become a hallmark of how teachers teach and learners learn at this school. We'll also be using portions of it for enhancements to technology in the classroom and other vital resources like gifted and talented curriculum.
We're really hoping for 100% participation in the Stallion Fund, because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We want our kids to get a great education. We want them to be inspired and to love to learn, and we want them to be able to achieve their dreams. That is what the Stallion Fund is all about.